what's up you guys? Thank you for tuning into my channel where we focus on finance, real estate, and other life topics. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe as I'm providing valuable content updates on a weekly basis. Okay, so I wanted to discuss the topic of unemployment benefits surrounding our current virus situation. Now, I've seen several articles online discussing how some employers are making claims that they're having a hard time getting people to come back to work. So some unemployed workers are now making more money through enhanced unemployment benefits provided by the CARES Act. And many employers are saying they're struggling to keep employees or getting employees on unemployment to return to work. Now, the blame, they say, is with the $2.2 trillion CARES Act that Congress passed in late March. The CARES Act increased unemployment benefits by $600 per week until July 31st. Now, this boost in pay is the equivalent of an extra $15 per hour for most people. Now, it is undeniable that the federal bonus gives minimum wage workers in every state more than they made before they were laid off. In fact, in all but a dozen high-wage states, including my state of California, the bonus raises unemployment benefits high enough to equal or exceed the average worker's pay. Meanwhile, studies show that the pandemic-related job losses have been concentrated in low-paying service and retail industry. Now, this is definitely a complex issue, but I want to dive into it a bit. There's no doubt, guys, we have a serious health crisis on our hands. If you think about it, the United States has over a third of reported cases of the virus and most of the deaths with this pandemic, yet we are less than 6% of the total population. The United States has way more cases, way more deaths, and we represent such a small percentage of the overall world population. Now, according to ABC News, the extra funds are putting employers at risk of violating the terms of the stimulus loans given through the Paycheck Protection Program. But in order to receive funds for the program, employers are required to retain at least 3/4 of their payroll. Now, in some cases, depending on what their compensation was, some workers make more money on unemployment with the federal stipend of $600 a week. So what's happening is that the CARES Act is providing an extra $600 per week on top of the state benefits. But I mean, let's think about it. Is the real issue unemployment benefits? And what does that say about us as a country that some people make more money on unemployment than working? This is exactly why a lot of people argue for a livable wage. I mean, the federal minimum wage is stuck at $7.25, and it's been that way since 2009. Now, granted, most states have higher minimum wages, but when you think about that federal minimum wage and how some in the hospitality industry earn less than minimum wage because they're expected to live off of tips, you can begin to see some serious issues. Now, the federal government's $600 weekly unemployment payments were designed to help boost the economy due to record job losses. Now, this amount was picked because, along with state unemployment benefits, it boosts the average American worker's wage up to 100%. Now, nationally, the average weekly benefit is around $370 a month. With the additional federal benefit from the CARES Act, that average weekly wage is now around $970 a month, which is a $600 difference, which approximates 100% income replacement for a few months while the economy needed to be shut down to deal with this health crisis. I mean, I really don't understand the problem in some respects. The government wanted people to stay home and quarantine. And we already know that the majority of people live paycheck to paycheck. So the whole point in giving people the majority of their income was to encourage people to stay home, so they would not have to worry about paying their bills and keeping a roof over their head. If people were not getting the added unemployment benefit, the crisis would have been way worse, guys. Because you would have more people struggling to pay their bills and not wanting to stay home because they would need to be finding a way to make more money during this crisis. Now, the United States unemployment rates has skyrocketed from 4% in February to more than 15% in April. Now, legally, if someone is offered reemployment and turns it down, they're likely to lose their unemployment benefits. I mean, at this point, the extra $600 is set to expire July 31st. So I think it's safe to say most people will go back to work. But it's like, hello government, can you really blame people for wanting to be safe and not die? I mean, there's no vaccine, there's no cure. So personally, I'm not surprised that people are not going back to work at the moment. Now, there's plenty of misinformation that just needs to be corrected surrounding this issue. For starters, states do not allow laid off workers to just keep collecting unemployment benefits after their employer asks them to come back. There has to be special circumstances for them to refuse a job offer and still retain unemployment benefits. So to the extent that laid off workers are holding out and preventing their employers from restarting, it's either because the mechanism for enforcing that requirement aren't working, or it's special circumstances for that particular situation. I think the fundamental issue here is whether more people will go back to work if unemployment benefits are cut back to normal, where they range from $213 per week in Alabama to $555 in Massachusetts, but the national average is $378. Now, you could make the argument that the incentive to work would be dramatically higher, but that would only matter if jobs were plentiful and the barriers to work, such as a lack of childcare, were few. And honestly, when the economy is in a deep hole as it is today, reducing unemployment benefits for tens of millions of unemployed Americans means less spending, less demand, and less economic activity. Also, there is one thing that opponents of the added benefits seem to be forgetting. Lawmakers did not toss in the extra $600 a week because they wanted to make life easy for laid off, low-wage workers. The whole reason behind it is they were trying to keep the economy going in spite of the collapse in demand. For many people struggling out here, that extra money is not going to get stuffed in a mattress. It's going to go towards buying food, buying clothes, paying bills, covering health insurance deductibles, and otherwise flowing into and through the economy. Also, given the fact that millions of the recipients are in low-wage industries, these recipients are more likely to spend the money quickly and in total than middle-income families that receive $2,400 or more in stimulus checks from the CARES Act. Some people are trying to imply that there's like mass unemployment fraud going on. Meanwhile, you have large corporations who got millions of dollars they don't need, and people with private jets who are getting millions of dollars. So who's really gaming the system? Somehow those who are unemployed right now due to no fault of their own are somehow the problem? Now, there's no doubt that some people who've been laid off will try to game the system, especially if they were in a dead-end job they hated. But I really think it's a mistake to assume that the only thing standing between us and a vibrant economy is the extra $600 in weekly unemployment benefits. I honestly think the two biggest challenges for us at the moment and for months to come is to ensure the safety of our population and getting a vaccine, and also generating the demand for goods and services that will enable businesses not just to reopen, but to stay open and get back to full capacity. So what are your thoughts regarding the unemployment situation? Please leave your feedback in the comments section. If you found value in the video, give it a like, share it, and be sure to subscribe to the channel as I'm posting updates on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.